All right, so let me introduce you to deep agents. This was just released by LangChain, and it's basically a CLI agent similar to Claude Code, except the main difference is that it comes with a set of built-in tools right out of the box. So you could actually start using it and do a bunch of things with it. So it requires much less setting up. So here's the repo for deep agents by LangChain. And if you're not familiar with LangChain, LangChain is one of like the early frameworks for developing AI chatbots, especially RAG in the early days right after ChatGPT came out. So it's like a veteran in the AI space. And they made developing chatbots and connecting to tools like Pinecone for vector databases much easier. So now they dropped their hat into the coding CLI like Claude Code with this deep agents. You just follow the steps and you can set it up. And you actually can connect it to any LLM as well. One of the cool things about it is that you can actually sort of switch between auto and manual, as you can see here at the bottom. And in manual, it'll ask you if you want to proceed, and you have to there's a bit of a human in loop portion, versus auto, you set it and forget it kind of thing. So here I have a prompt that has a series of steps, and this is what I'm going to do to test it out. So the prompt says, research the web looking for latest news in AI. So Deep Agents already comes with a tool to search the web. And then it says, then create a folder on the desktop called AI News. Then create a notepad document called AI News March 14th and put the contents of your research inside this document. Make sure you use proper formatting so that the document looks readable and professional instead of just giving me a blob of text. Also, be sure to cite your sources at the bottom of the page. Then save the document inside the folder. Let me know when you're done. So as you can see, this document does not exist, or the folder right now. So we are going to go ahead and press enter and have this thing run and see what it does. Now, what it's going to do is it actually has the ability to create its own to-do list, and it's going to execute on it. And as it's doing it, you get to see which task is completed. So this is going to run for a while. I'll let it run, and we will return when it's done. All right, so it is done. As you can see, all 3 tasks were completed, and then it gave me a summary and what document covers, right? So it did go through a bit, and I'm just going to scroll up. It did have some issues in the beginning to try to create document, bit of a long discussion to go into that. But if you get into a situation, you'll notice that it will start to create scripts and try to correct itself as it's trying to. So before we go and look at the results on the desktop, let's quickly look at what the capabilities are here. So I'm going to ask it, what are you able to do? And what are your tools? So what I'm going to show you right now is it's going to tell us exactly what it's capable of. I'm going to go, as I mentioned, you can get a bunch of tools built in when you start this thing up. So here it is. So obviously you can do code and development, research and information. So, it's good. It connects to the web, and you can summarize things and file systems and tasks as we are doing in this example, right? Create, read, edit. I mean, this can be super useful in so many ways. Data analysis. I know one thing to keep in mind, like these are all things you can do with Claude Code as well. But the thing is that when you start this up, you can get all of this right out of the box. That's the main difference. So here are the tools. We got a read file, write file, edit, list directory content. So really good access to your data, to all the data you have on your computer as well. Another thing to note is that you can switch between manual, auto, as I mentioned earlier. The bottom here tells you how many tokens was consumed during what you've done in this session, and also the model. So I've connected obviously Sonnet 4.6, but you can add pretty much any LLM that you want in the backend. Also, what I'll do is share a document that will go through step by step in terms of how to set up deep agents. But let's look at the results. So as you can see, the folder AI News was created. and we gave it some instructions, right? This is the name of the document that I requested. Let's go inside it and see. And as you can see, it's nice and formatted. And it also has the sources at the bottom. So very good output. And you need to make sure you prompt it quite well so that it does a good job. But yeah, like this is great. I had it running. Now, a couple of things I wish they would make usage a little bit easier. You could copy and paste things because you technically can't. And that makes it a little difficult. So you have to type everything out. And the other thing is that you want to make sure that you have an idea of how well it does what it's supposed to do. Because if you just give it something and you walk away, it might use up way too much tokens.